Hey Arctic Warriors, what's up? Arctic Phoenix here. Yes, we're doing the women's NIT bracket. Don't ask why, I probably have nothing better to do with my life. Air Force versus Utah Valley. We're going Utah Valley. Hmm. Oh. Pacific versus New Mexico State. We're doing New Mexico State. And Carson Word. We're going UT Arlington. Chattanooga versus Alabama A&M. We're going Chattanooga. Albertine Christian versus Northwestern State. We're going Northwestern State. Lipscomb versus Western Illinois. Lipscomb. Lindenwood versus Tulsa. We're going Lindenwood. St. Mary's versus Texas Southern. We're going St. Mary's. Yes, we're basically the UMass versus Stonehill. UMass. Campbell versus Coastal Carolina. We're going Coastal Carolina. Army versus Bryant. Army. Howard versus Senna. Senna. Duquesne versus Longwood. Duquesne. Colgate versus Coppin State. We're going Toothpaste U. Women's Old Dominion versus Navy. Navy. Chicago versus UAB. UAB. Washington versus Utah Valley. Washington State. New Mexico State versus North Dakota State. North Dakota State. North Texas versus Arlington. Arlington with the upset. Troy versus Chattanooga. Troy. Central Arkansas versus Northwestern State. Central Arkansas. LA versus Lipscomb. Lipscomb. Charlton State versus Lindenwood. Charlton State. St. Mary's versus Louisiana Tech. St. Mary's. Buffalo versus UMass. Buffalo. Southern Illinois versus Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina. Rutgers versus Army. Army. College of Charleston, Virginia. Charleston. Charleston. Duquesne versus Miami, Ohio. Miami, Ohio. Colgate versus Cleveland State. Cleveland State. Fort Wayne versus Navy. Fort Wayne. Butler versus UAB. Butler. And now the Super 16 had to be a little clever there. Washington State versus North Dakota State. We're going with the Bisons. UTA versus Troy. We're going Arlington. Central Arkansas versus Lipscomb. Central Arkansas. Yeah, they had what? Charlton State versus St. Mary's. Charlton State. Buffalo versus Coastal Carolina. Buffalo. Army versus Charleston. Army. Miami, Ohio versus Cleveland State. Cleveland State. Fort Wayne versus Butler. I'm going Butler. Yeah, some. And now time for the Great Eight. Man, why can't you just call it Sweet 16 or Elite Eight and that kind of stuff? Just be normal people. And the North Dakota State versus UTA. North Dakota State. Central Arkansas versus Charlton State. Central Arkansas. Damn. Buffalo versus Army. Buffalo. Cleveland State versus Butler. I'm going Cleveland State. And now time for the Fab Four. ND State versus Central Arkansas. North Dakota State. Buffalo versus Cleveland. Cleveland. And North Dakota State versus Cleveland for the championship. North Dakota State. Man, here's my pick for the women's NIT bracket. Just in case anyone was wondering. Thank you. Have a nice day. Peace.